All right, guys, welcome back to the Play On podcast. This is episode 58 with Jesse and Jerry. We're just coming off the high of the Copa del Rey final. One
You
of
say
us is
hi,
happy,
some
the other one is has it's a low, as they would say. But you had a high for a bit.
no, it was I think some people call torture because they had me low in the first half. Second half they had me on the high and then they brought me back down. So it's they gave me hope and then took it away.
Yeah, that's how it happens, dude. It's kind of a Real Madrid season. Would you say they got gas at the end? Well, there was a bunch of factors. But yeah, Barcelona ended up winning the game 3-2 in extra times. Um, Ferran, or who was it? Pedri
Kunde,
scored. Pedri
Kunde,
scored.
Fran,
Then,
Ferran.
well, I'm going in chronological.
Oh,
Pedri,
Pedri, then Mbappe, and then it was
Tchouaméni,
too many, and then it was Ferran, and then Kunde.
Koundé scored the winner. Yeah, like Jesse said, it was pretty much a tale of two halves. Barca dominated the first half, did well. Jude Bellingham messed up and didn't track
Track back.
back. Then Madrid was all over Barcelona in the second half. Like it was exhausting and very nerve-wracking. And like you said, you were telling me yesterday after our heated discussion that Ancelotti for the first time this season he outcoached a coach for like a bit.
Yeah, because it's actually surprising because it was the first time he brought in subs in the 50th minute because
Mhm.
he's known for his late subs, and those two subs changed the whole game because Modric and Güler brought its ability into that midfield of being able to carry on and connect it to the forwards that hasn't been there, and Güler, who we've been asking for all season to see more time of, showed exactly why because he was outstanding.
Yeah, Rodrigo wasn't is having a horrible 3 months. I think he hasn't scored a goal in 3 months, and it's kind of concerning. He looks like he's going to be in the chopping block at the in the summer transfer window. But we'll see. You never know with Madrid. They might stick it out with the whole squad. But yeah, what changed it for Barcelona and end up winning the match was Rudiger's injury. After they scored the second goal, Real Madrid, uh, during the celebration, Rudiger was asking his medical staff to bandage his other leg.
Yeah, he was getting treated for both knees because, well, he was getting treated for his left knee at first, and then I think he was just overcompensating with his right. So
Hmm.
then they were both by the end of it because I think he's going to need a procedure at the end of the season. He's literally just holding on, but he might be able to do it earlier depending on what suspension he gets.
Yeah, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, Lamine Yamal took advantage of it, and Barcelona just started playing long balls towards Rudiger's side because they know that he can't run it that fast. And Courtois, people are putting blame on him, but I could see why, but also Courtois realized that his teammate can't run, so he had to try to make a play and come out and get the ball.
The problem that I have with Courtois is that if you're gonna come out, you have to commit, and at least at that point, take him out or make sure the ball doesn't go in the net. Like went for it, but then he doubted and then sort of stepped back, which allowed, Ferran to be able to go over him and then shoot at the open net. Because if at least he takes him out, at worst it's just a free kick. And then we just bring in Lunin, even though we're playing with one man less, we're holding out for what, 10 more minutes?
No, you wouldn't be playing with Lunin. That was the last sub Real Madrid made because their three windows was up already.
What was it?
Because it was
Oh
Mendy at
yeah, they
first
did
because
that. It
he
would have
got
been
injured.
Yeah, Brahim. But I saw I would have taken that over a goal.
Yeah, in hindsight, probably. Try to save the match as long as you could. You probably got reminders of the Atletico Madrid versus Real Madrid match where Valverde strategically took out the player, I forgot who it was, for the Morata. He took out
Yeah,
Morata so he doesn't have goal chance on goal.
yeah,
Maybe.
but
You never know how the match would have turned out, but it would have been an interesting scenario. Probably would have put Valverde at goal at that point.
yeah,
But yeah,
but
extra time came along and I was fully confident Barcelona was going to take advantage just because Real Madrid played too many extra times this season.
yeah. And I think it showed because the last goal was a mistake, a mental mistake by Modric of all people, because Brahim was expecting, to go for a through ball, but instead he sent it directly to his feet, like through the middle of the park.
Yeah, that was a couple mistakes right there. Modric's pass was very weak. He passed it in the middle, and then Brahim Diaz didn't run towards the ball. He just kind of stood there, and like you said, he was expecting a through ball, and went the wrong way. Momentum took him out, and Koundé just came out on top. And dude, and it's so funny because I was screaming for him to pass the ball to Lamine Yamal on the right side because Koundé has taken a lot of those shots in that area because it's been like all season where he's been robbing those specific balls because a lot of teams play him because of Barca's press. And well, this one finally went in because in previous shots they went wide, but this one I don't know what happened. He beat Courtois, one of probably the best goalkeeper in the world.
And some people were saying that that's a shot Courtois saves, but that was a good shot because that was side netting. That was low side netting. That's what you want from a strike.
Yeah, dude, you couldn't ask for anything more because it was hard and like perfectly put like it was in the bottom right. Like normally Courtois would more than likely save a shot if it wasn't as hard, but that was just a great shot by Koundé. You can't take it. You can't say blame Courtois or anyone. You could blame probably Modric and Ibrahim,
Yeah,
but not Courtois. He did his best, and he was so close to getting it too.
yeah. It was a game of inches, really.
Yeah. Then from there, the whole debacle happened where Rudiger gained his suspension for
Suspension.
throwing ice at the referee.
Yeah, he took his bandages off and threw the ice that he was using for, treatment and threw it to the ref.
We'll see. He'll probably get a 1 game suspension.
I doubt it because even the German FA came out and said that that's not how he should be representing the national team. So I think that I think honestly, I hope he does get like the 4 to 12 one because that way he could have his surgery and just be ready for next season. Because there's no reason dragging it out and potentially making his injuries worse. Because
Yeah,
he's been
because
through a lot
I was gonna
this
say more
season.
likely he's gonna try to force the play again.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was he was handed a red card. Then after the match, like the game ended, they handed off 2 more red cards, and it was to Lucas Vasquez and Jude Bellingham. And that
I
was
thought
rep
I thought Vasquez was at the same time as Rudiger.
mm-mm. For the match. Well, I don't know how the referee's report was, but he did have 3 red cards given, so it could have been right there. But I don't think so because Lucas Vasquez was still on the pitch
No,
while
he was
Rudiger
off.
was dragged off. So maybe then. But yeah, after like the whole trophy ceremony, apparently Jude Bellingham got a red card.
Because I know because Vasquez was subbed out, so he
Mm.
was on the bench too. So when he went on the field, I thought he got it immediately, and because of what he was saying.
But hey.
And I know Jude's was afterwards.
My boys lost composure, Jesse. Come on, dude. They're supposed to know how to lose too, not just win.
I understand the emotions because there it was a tough one. Yeah, I think Vasquez was off. No, no, it says not on the pitch on this card, so I think it was also.
Afterwards.
Hmm.
So we'll see how long their suspensions is for. Couldn't be anything. It could probably be two plus games for sure. It won't be 1 game, specifically just because they probably told the ref something that he didn't like. So normally that doesn't go well for the players.
Well, I know that if it's the 2 games ones, they're going to be served next year because just directly in the Copa del Rey. But if it exceeds four, it gets included into La Liga. So I know Vasquez and Jude will be able to, continue playing this season. They're just going to be carried on over until next year. But Lucas Vasquez, who knows if he will even be in a Madrid shirt because they're saying that he could leave as well.
No, hopefully he stays. Play right back, dude. He played that role fantastically.
For who?
For us, he was getting cooked. I think that's why they sold him off. Finally, Ancelotti realized, like, yeah, this guy cannot play right back for us against Barcelona.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall match, I give it a 5 just because it had me pretty emotionally wrecked.
Five out of
10.
5 out of 10. Really?
If I was a normal spectator that didn't have any what is it stakes on either side, I'd probably give it like a 9 out of 10. It was a fun match, not gonna lie.
I I like the match, even though we lost, but it reminded me of the old Real Madrid Barca matches where it was really entertaining. Past couple ones, sure there it was still high level gameplay, but the emotions weren't as same. Like the players didn't seem as invested as before. Like this kind of reminded me of the whole Mourinho Guardiola era where every game was emotional, red cards all the time.
Yeah, that it was yeah, this match definitely seemed more intense. I don't know why, because even the Supercopa, the finals, they were playing for a cup at the end, but I think being the Copa del Rey, it means a lot more, especially for Madrid. They're fighting for to at least have the potential to get two trophies. So I know they played well. Madrid, I mean Barca too, like they were just high emotions, and they could have easily been up at least 2-0 comfortably before the first half ended. But controversy hits, especially in these kinds of matches. So refereeing can't really say too much. I think it was like mediocre at best.
I think it was mostly VAR because even if beforehand we could say like referee can't see or didn't have a good angle on it, but now there's VAR to look at things, and VAR didn't really get involved into the game too much until that penalty call with Rafinha, which is like it literally they forced him to.
Hmm.
But besides that, VAR has no like never called upon the ref because even on yellow cards or anything like that, they call upon the ref to like if to they can only upgrade it, not take it away.
Hmm.
So like VAR can get involved a whole lot, but even like I know for like what you're saying, like potential other penalties for Barcelona, VAR had the angles and they didn't call upon the ref. So if it was them, if anyone that had a bad performance, it was them. Because I like that at least this was one of the few matches that I've seen where the ref let them play because it was the most physical match I've seen in a while.
Yeah, and it gives you a sense of like those old school matches way before VAR, like 'cause it wasn't getting involved, which they should have. But yeah, it was like old school matches. Like it's the rule, whatever fucking the ref says, and that's it.
Mhm.
Nothing else. We don't care. Like it happened, the VAR keep going. Who knows if it played? I don't know if you've seen the whole pressuring the referee on Friday, the whole press conference the ref had. If that played into a factor, or if even the federation for the referees got involved, saying like, "Hey, let's not try to use this VAR as much for this match, just because we know it's going to be intense at the final." And yeah, it's pretty hard to get like even red cards on finals unless it's like a completely horrible challenge. But yeah, even I think I think VAR was trying to keep away like those little penalties,
Mhm.
even though the Baku Brasil was a penalty. But no, I could see it. Like you said, it was like they were tugging on each other. But
Mhm.
yeah. I could see how like the referee got involved. So in a way, they kind of stuck to their gut with that. Like at the final, it's hard to get a red card. Let's keep it the same way for VAR. If it's a final, we're not going to check every single little thing.
Mhm.
But I don't like it just because how we're used to watching matches now, where
Mhm.
everything gets called. But it is what it is. I didn't mind. Like I said, it's mediocre. It's something I'm not used to because again, it's previous soccer.
Yeah. I liked it because I feel like if it let the match flow and it was much quicker pace because like we're so used to so many stoppages and I hate that. I hate when there's so many stoppages. I feel like it cuts the flow of the game. It it makes me feel like it's American sports where there's so many stops, there's so many timeouts, there's all these things. And I because I like the old way.
Yeah. I
So
miss it sometimes. Yeah, like you said, it's faster paced. We don't have to wait for VAR to see the challenge just for them to tell you like, no, it's nothing. Yeah, and I do compare it a lot to American sports. Literally, playoff basketball's going on. 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I wish they would just do no more timeouts and it was continuous. And yeah, I tried watching it. I'm like, this is pissing me off. It's 3 minutes left, and it's been like 10 minutes that passed, or even 20,
yeah, when you see that NBA game is like 5 minutes left, you know you still got like 20 minutes left.
or half an hour, even an
Yeah.
hour. Yeah, but yeah, it's something. But yeah, Barcelona got their first trophy, well, second trophy of the season. Um, let's see if they continue. Supercopa, Jesse.
No, no, I thought there was another one. I thought there was another thing we could beat on, but no,
No,
never mind.
unless you want to compete, unless you want to count the friendly trophies, which I don't even think we got any. But yeah, it's Supercopa, Copa del Rey.
Oh no, no, I'm thinking of a different one.
Yeah. So yeah, Barcelona still has a lot at stake. But is that our next topic? No, it's our last topic. It's our last topic, right?
Hmm.
But yeah, speaking of Barcelona's rival, we're not really speaking of it. Uh, then the Serie A, a lot of things got interesting over the weekend.
Yeah, well, not rival, but their upcoming opponent in the Champions League, Inter. They were, they're neck and neck with Napoli coming into this weekend, and they fumbled.
Yeah, this is the third match in a row of not winning.
Yeah, it's very bad form leading up to against Barcelona, who I think the one thing they can look forward to is that they had to play 120 minutes in
Mhm.
an intense match, but at least it's until Wednesday, so you guys will get a little bit more time to recover. But yeah, they are not looking good coming into the match.
Yeah, they lost 2-0 to Roma, who's battling for European spots. Again, Napoli, like you said, is breathing down their neck, and on top of that, Napoli won. So now Napoli is ahead in the points with a 3 point difference.
Yes.
And there's only three matches left. And then it's not
Yeah.
getting easier for Inter.
No, because we said their schedule,
They're
right?
facing Hellas Verona
Yeah, Hellas Verona and then
who Barca in the midweek. And then I don't know the
Barca,
other matches.
Barca midweek, or well, Barca, then Hellas Verona, then Barca again, and then Torino, then Lazio and Como, which the-
Yeah,
none are easy matches.
none of those matches are easy. Napoli has the benefit of not playing any other competitions, so they're in there. And on top of that, Inter Milan had a horrible week in midweek because they lost against their rival AC Milan in the Super Cup of Italy, Italia.
Yeah, and it wasn't even close, really.
They got dismantled. What was it, 3-1, 3-0?
Yeah, I think it was 3-0. Let me check.
So it's not fun.
Yeah, 3-0.
Not fun for Inter Milan. Oh my God, Inter Milan. Yeah. Why did I thought I said Inter Miami. It's not fun for Inter because they're coming up against a Barcelona that hasn't they lost once in 2025, but they're just coming off their win against their eternal rival.
Yeah, and plus also Marcus Thuram is has a knock, so he's iffy on he will play, but if he does play, he will be playing with a knock.
So yeah. So yeah. It could have been a better situation for Barcelona. Because yeah, Inter Milan is known for like their defense, and right now they're just conceding too many goals, which is unheard of for them.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's not like anything has really changed. Maybe it's just, they are the old team, so maybe the fitness is just catching up to them and they're getting tired legs.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah. But the rest of the Serie A is also very tight.
Hmm. But what was I gonna say? Because Barcelona, Flick was kind of smart about it. He rotated some players even though there was extra times to be played. Like he took off Frankie, he took off um Pedri. Who else did he take off? He took off Ferran at one point. So he was making subs, and so they didn't play the full 120. Specific what is it? Specifically Pedri and Frankie. They got taken off in in the regulation time.
Um,
So hopefully they do
Daniel
something enough. Yeah,
Daniel
Daniel
Olmo's
got subbed at the 60th minute too.
65th, then Gerard Martin, Ronald Araujo, 85 with Gabi and Frankie de Jong. Pedri was extra time, 98th minute with Eric
Mhm.
Garcia. And then Ferran Torres, 115 with Pau Victor.
Yeah, so it's it's gonna be tough for Inter Milan. We'll see what they come out with. Again, I don't think it's gonna be a stroll in the park for Barcelona at all. We'll just see. But Premier League,
It's
we've
over.
been
It's
saying it,
been
dude.
it's been over for like 2 months, but no one else believed us. And now it's finally declared, and everyone's like, "Oh, it is over."
No one saw it coming. But yeah, Liverpool won the league. Tottenham didn't put much of a fight. I was watching the match and it
A
was
fight?
horrible.
I didn't even think they showed up,
No. Hey, then what could you expect, dude? It's 17th place team.
dude. Barely avoiding regulation.
Not barely. It was by like 11 or 12 points, but
No, but like in placing, it's right above.
there's no excuse for Manchester United and Tottenham at all. They spent like almost $500 million this season to be in that part of the table. That's
Th-
embarrassing.
It's an embarrassing situation. I it's somewhat more understandable from Manchester United because there was a mid-year coaching change. So there's understandable that there might be growing pains with that. But even then, a so much money has been invested into that squad, similar on both sides. So it just doesn't make sense. Like, sure, you could say injuries have gone to a point, but even then, you still have to be able to show up. Like you're a big club for a reason.
It's so dumb, dude. It's just like Tottenham has no excuse at all, dude. This is a what is it? Your second year coach. You know what's going on. They spent a lot of money and they should have bet more in depth, knowing how many matches they do play. But they rather just make one huge signing or just spend money so stupidly. And it's just frustrating, Jesse. Like it makes no sense. How the hell do you have a Tottenham squad spends that much money, then you have a Barcelona who's one of the better clubs in the world.
Spend less.
Yeah, barely spent any. I think 60 million on Dani Olmo, but then again, there was a bunch of sales before that had to happen.
It's Premier League, Jerry. They make no sense.
Don't worry, they're just gonna spend 500 million more just to come up in 13th place instead.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Then yeah, shout out to Liverpool, won the league. They stopped Man City from winning another one, but
But yeah, it was kind of they were looking very shaky towards the end of the season. So, and I know there's gonna be some roster turnover coming this summer. So we'll see if they could, keep it up next year as well.
yeah, that's for sure.
And then on the rest of the league, it's looking like it's gonna be a tough couple matches to see who gets those remaining Champions League spots.
Yeah, it's literally a rat race to see who's gonna get it. Um, Man, I don't know. It's just a tight race right now. I think it's like a 4 point difference between like third and like what is it, sixth or seventh?
Seventh, because from Aston Villa at seventh with 57, Newcastle's third with 62, so 5 points.
So they can, and on top of that, they can't even battle for fifth place, like you said, because if Tottenham or Man U win the Europa League,
They
they
get
get
pushed
that
down.
spot.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting thing. I know that everyone's praying for like in the Premier League specifically, and in that top four or five race, they're praying for Man U and Tottenham to lose.
Yeah. Because imagine finishing all the way up here and then the 17th or the team gets your spot.
Yeah, it's honestly that's disgusting, Jesse. I can't even. Supposed to be the top teams in the world football, and you're telling me a 17th or 18th or 16th place team is going to get that spot?
Yeah,
That's disgusting.
I know.
Why did they get the spot? Because of performance, right? I guess.
Well, the fifth spot is because of your the English teams getting farther in like European
Hmm.
competitions, and then the Man U and Spurs because the Europa League winner gets a Champions League spot.
Yep. They should have just taken that spot away. They don't deserve it, dude.
Yeah, and then what's even crazier is that so the spot below that, even if you get pushed back, if Crystal Palace beats Man City in the FA Cup, they don't get any Europa League, so they could potentially finish like uh fifth and not get any European competition, maybe Conference League or something like that.
Just so many scenarios. What place is Crystal Palace in? Why do they get a Europa League spot for winning this?
12 for winning the FA Cup
But
because they're in the
why?
final.
Why is that a thing? Like, oh, like UEFA's like, yeah, you guys get that.
Yeah, I guess so. Because remember last year, Man U, because they were also like, what was it, 12?
Hmm. They got it
And
because of
they
that.
and they beat Man City in the final and they got Europa League. That's why they're here.
What if they would have lost? Would they still got it just because they in the final Man City was in the Champions League?
No, they wouldn't have gotten anything. It would have just stayed like
A
the
playoff
same.
slot?
Yeah, it would have just whoever because they knocked out who was it? I want to say Newcastle
Hmm.
or someone whoever was there, they got knocked out and they didn't get like the European competition spot.
Makes sense. That's so funny though.
Yeah.
Just put all my eggs on the fucking FA Cup. Not even challenge the title for the Premier League.
Yeah, and then you'll say, yeah, we qualified for Europe and we got a title this year.
Because think about it, like a second or third division team can go to the Europa League. because of that.
Yeah. But the Premier League will probably intervene and then say, no, but that's not how that works.
Maybe because of their stadium, if it's not big enough, it doesn't comply to their rules. Maybe. It's still hilarious. But yeah, enough of that. Farmers League. Legit, they won it with how many games left? Probably like 4 or 5.
Uh, 4, I think.
Remember when the Premier League used to be good, dude, and it came down to the last day?
Because right now was round 34 and there is
38 rounds.
yeah, so 4 left.
Yeah, you remember those good old days? The QPR Man City.
Yeah, but that was like 10 years ago. It's become a Farmers League since then. Not even 10 years ago. It's a little bit more.
Yeah, almost like 12.
Yeah.
So crazy, dude. Went from anyone could win it to like who's winning it now, Liverpool or Man City?
Well, that's what happens when you just get influx of money and everyone just spends it dumb. Because before, it wasn't how they currently claim it's the best league in the world. It was at least competitive for the other team. So we were like, oh, it's at least enjoyable to watch. But now they've taken that away and they're no longer competitive and they're not the best league in the world. So, it's just gone downhill.
Yeah. So I wonder how they're gonna market that over the summer, but we'll see. Bundesliga is pretty much wrapped up as well. That one is a Farmers League. Everyone knows it too. Uh, Harry Kane's winning a title, Jesse.
Yeah, this year's sort of been like a nightmare scenario for me. Everything that I don't want to happen has happened. And I think that might be up there with one of the worst ones.
Yeah, what is it? Bayern Munich has an 8 point lead, 3 games left. They just have to tie against Leipzig and they pretty much win the title. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wraps. I think they could even lose. No, they have to lose every game in order to potentially even lose, and that by goal difference too.
Or
Every
if they lose every game and then Leverkusen wins all of them, Leverkusen wins by 1 point, but it's such an unlikely scenario. It
they
doesn't
should
happen.
they should take the Serie A model and what I told you that could happen. So in Serie A, if the top two teams tie in points, they go to a playoff and face each other in a final.
Yeah, I think that should be adopted by all leagues because that's such a great format. Because what better way than to truly like decide the winner?
Yeah. And I think they should make it something like both teams, like, you know how they face each other twice in a season? Like I won once, you won once. If that's like even the tiebreaker, go to the playoff for the title. That'd be awesome. So much at stake. But yeah, Bundesliga is pretty much done. Not Leipzig. Bayern Leverkusen had a horrendous start, and that's what kind of caused them to like kind of lose the title race.
Well, I'd say like towards it was a horrendous start and sort of they scuttled at the end as well because they just sort of sometimes fall apart for random reasons. And it's crazy because last year they showed so much mental resilience that this year has sort of disappeared.
Yeah, Champions curse, if anything. They have a bunch of film on them. They studied them harder, just low block it even more. But yeah, there's rumors of Xabi Alonso leaving the squad. It's Real Madrid. There's also rumors of him going to Real Sociedad. Sure, Jesse wouldn't be happy with that. Um, but yeah, we'll see what happens with his future. Vincent Company looks like he bought another ticket for next season again, so he's staying a little longer.
Which I think Bayern fans should be upset about that because I think the team hasn't done anything to show that he's actually helped them, but I think he's just gonna impede their growth even more.
Definitely. Well, I don't know. His team has showed glimpses of what it can be. I'm just terrified. Like we talked about it last episode, is Bayern Munich is losing their ways and not using their academy as much as they used to.
Yeah, they're in that use. There's no longer like before there'd be like the academy like a core of players and they would be in leadership positions to carry over the team like Alaba, Cruz, or Schweinsteiger, Philipp Lahm, or like all these like Thomas Mueller and like all these other players. But like they're all basically gone now. And the only one is what maybe Pavlovich, and that's it.
Musiala.
Well, Musiala came from Man City Academy.
Well, at least he was in the academy for like a season or two.
I don't think so. I think he started right away.
Did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right because he started like playing at 18.
Hmm. So like, and also before then, they would have like a stronghold on the German market, on the Bundesliga market, where any young player would instantly go to Bayern. But that's no longer the case. They've all been going to other leagues, like mostly Premier League and things like that.
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty much it for the Bundesliga, beating a dead horse at this point. What position is Dortmund in currently?
Let me.
I know they were going for European spots as well because they weren't doing too hot.
They're in six, so that's conference right now. They could
Not,
potentially go above Leipzig because they're only 1 point up, and then Freiburg's 2 point up. So they could still technically finish in the Champions League spot.
yeah, it's gonna be a tough race for them. So if anything, keep an eye out for that. Just like in the Premier League, look out for the European spots and see how they end. But yeah, pretty much our last topic for right now is gonna be the Champions League. We kind of already gave the Barcelona Inter preview a little bit. Um, but the other one is Arsenal versus PSG. They're playing in the Emirates first game. It's gonna be an interesting one. It's gonna be a good defense against a great offense.
Oh wait, hold up, Jerry. You were right. He did play in the academy. He went from Chelsea, not Man U, to Bayern Munich under 19, and then Bayern Munich 2, and then Bayern Munich. So I guess that kind of counts.
Yeah. I mean, it's something. At least you planted your foot into that academy team, you know?
Hmm.
It wasn't just given straight into the to play or something. But yeah, who do you got, Jesse?
I went with oh wait, Inter, Barca? Isn't that Wednesday?
No, that's why I was said Arsenal versus PSG.
Oh, okay. I'm going with PSG because multiple factors. I think they're a better team overall, but mostly because the midfield dominance that they have, and especially with Arsenal being without Party for their first game, I think it's gonna even set their dominance even higher. So I just wonder how they're gonna deal with that forward line that's probably been the best in the world so far, with Desiree Doué hitting crazy form, Ousmane Dembele, and then Kvaratskhelia.
Yeah, I have the game going into a tie just because I think the Partey departure is going to play a factor. I think Saka, if he does play, he's going to play with a knock. Um, as long as PSG doesn't play like how they played Aston Villa, which was just get my two goals and play low block. That's not your game. You have to keep playing your game and constantly keep attacking because they kind of almost bottled it against Villa just because of that. But yeah, I have it as a tie just because I think PSG is still one of the youngest teams in Europe, and they're gonna suffer a bit from that. So they're not gonna have the mental capacity of it. And I don't think they'll be able to pull it off. Maybe the second leg is a different story, but yeah, I gotta see how the first leg plays out, and I think it's gonna be a tie.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up that way, especially with because Arsenal will be playing the first leg at home. So I think if they finish with a draw, I think it's still a favorable result for PSG because going home, going for a win is still, like the best outcome for them, or like not the best, but like a good outcome for them. But I still think they go out with like a 1 goal lead.
Yeah, anything can happen in that match. I think just Arsenal's gonna suffer a lot if they don't have Saka at full capacity. And right now, I'm thinking he's gonna play it, but yeah, I don't know. I think the PSG backline is super good, but Nuno Mendes has showed his lack of focus and lack of defense in certain situations. So we'll see how he does against Saka. Again, I don't think he's gonna just constantly be on a one-on-one with him. I think Luis Enrique is gonna be smart and try to double him as much as he can, or at least all game.
Yeah. I expect there always to be like a second hand player right there, just in case if Saka does break through to contain him even more. Because I think he could focus on that with knowing that he's the majority of the threat.
Mhm. Pretty much the whole threat. Because
Mhm.
Martinelli has been playing good, but yeah, I don't know if I'll rely my whole attack on him. You
And
know?
especially the thing with Martinelli is that his weapon, like to take players on, is his speed, and he's not gonna outpace Hakimi. So I just think he's gonna be, negated by that fact.
Yeah, probably. And Hakimi is also a bigger body, so not gonna be easy for Martinelli because I know Hakimi is just gonna constantly bully him. And then on top of that, we'll see how Arsenal deals with PSG's attack of not even the front three, just the
The full,
fullbacks too.
yeah, the fullbacks are like dangerous when they go up there too. So who knows how they handle it, and
I,
especially with the midfield being able to pass so well.
yeah, and I think they scored a couple of goals in this in this knockout stage as well.
What
Nuno
I
Mendes scored and Hakimi scored, right?
I think against Aston Villa, they got their first two goals from the fullback, and then that before they started collapsing.
Even in the quarterfinals. So we'll see how Arteta plays. I know he's gonna play a deep block. I already know it. Nothing's gonna change with him.
Hey, no, Jerry, they play beautiful football. What do you mean?
Yeah. Against Madrid they did, but then, you know, second leg is a different story. Um, then it's Barcelona versus Milan. You want to see Miami. Barcelona's playing at home. No, they're playing
Yeah,
it.
no, they're playing home first leg.
Should not be like that, dude. Barca should have the away leg. I mean the second leg be at home just because they finished higher in the table. It should be like that, but maybe for next year they'll change the format like that. Higher seed gets the home stadium in the second leg. But yeah, I got Barcelona winning this match. Inter Milan is not playing that well. Age is probably playing a factor. They are one of the eldest squad, like averaging 31 years old for the whole squad. Um, yeah, Thuram is gonna be a huge miss for him if he doesn't play, but if he does play with a knock as well, I'm pretty sure they're capable of handling him.
Yeah, I think because Barca's playing at home and the recent high, I think it's gonna be very tough. But I think Inter edges out a draw just because Barca did play 120 minutes and they're coming off a win, so that's usually like a big adrenaline spike. So they might have a big fall from that.
I already knew it. Yeah, I got Barca winning it 3-0
3-0.
because Inter Milan's gonna be forced on the attack, and they're gonna leave a lot of spaces in the back. Because as long as Barca doesn't concede a goal first, they should win the match.
Well, the biggest thing is now that Dumfries is back, is how will Martin handle him? Are they going to start Araujo and at because they did put him at center back and then put Inigo Martinez at left back, and just see if that way he fares better against Dumfries, or are they going to stick with Martin?
Yeah, I think he'll probably do something like that because he did take my advice. Flick saw the podcast and listened. Yeah, that was one of my solutions just to play Inigo Martinez on the left side because Madrid found that hole of Martin not being such a good defender and started exploiting his side a lot. But if Flick caught on and played Inigo that side and kind of solved a lot of the issues, um, we'll see what he comes out with. I hope he does, or even Hector Ford. I really love him as a left back, even though he's a right back. But please don't play Martin. That's not my only plea.
All right, guys, and so we'll continue on with the rest of our predictions, starting with the Europa League. The first leg is between Bilbao versus Man U.
Give me Bilbao, bro.
Yeah, we both have Bilbao because it just
One
how can
team's
we
top five in their league, dude. The other one's it's 16th.
yeah, it's crazy. And plus this first leg is in San Mamés, so like Man U's never they don't have that type of, atmosphere over there at, England.
The roof works too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the next one?
Spurs versus Bodo Glimt.
Yeah, Bodo Glimt is one of the surprises of the Europa League. They have beaten Lazio. They have beaten multiple other teams. Can they beat Tottenham? I got the Spurs winning.
Yeah, I got Spurs. The first leg is at Spurs is home. I think Brooklyn has had a wonderful tournament. I just think right now Spurs is literally relying their entire season on this moment. Same with Ange. I think they're gonna go out and go for the one, and like they have to.
Yeah, I think both Glint has a chance to even make the final as long as they maintain maybe a draw or even this loss is by one. Because if they play at home, I fully believe that they could win that game. But right
Same.
now, they're just trying to play for the draw. I'm not even kidding.
I wouldn't even be mad if they won. I'd be
Hmm.
happy.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and then we have in the Conference League, Betis versus Fiorentina in their semifinal.
A great matchup, dude. Anthony, Isco, they're all trying to do their thing in Real Betis against a Fiorentina team who's doing pretty well in Serie A. And again, the Conference League seems to be their tournament. They're constantly in the semifinals because last year they made it to the final as well.
Yeah, I think they were my pick, but they fell short,
Hmm.
if I remember
Against
correctly.
West Ham, yeah. So this one, I think they're falling short again. I think I have Betis going through the final and winning this match.
Yeah, I went with Fiorentina. I can't bet against my team, that I've been supporting all year.
Blindly following. Nice. That's how it is. You have been saying that it's your team the whole season, though, so
Yeah.
gotta give it to you. Next one is
Then
Inter Miami versus Vancouver in the CONCACAF Champions League or Cup.
they say league, but it's a cup, right?
I think so. But yeah, Vancouver took the lead 2-0 in Canada. Inter Miami's coming back. They fully rested the whole squad. Um, but they kind of got also bad news this past weekend because they were up 3-1 against, I believe, New York Red Bulls. But they ended up losing the game 4-3. But they rested their whole starter, so they're gonna come out fresh for the semifinal, and I have Inter Miami winning the game.
Yeah, I just see the Miami's last two games, they both lost. Vancouver's on really good form. They beat Minnesota United 3-1. I'm going with Vancouver. They
I'm
have the
a,
two-goal lead. I think they carry on the result.
yeah, it's hard because Inter Miami's defense is very shaky. It's not like Inter Milan who has a pretty good defense. Well, not in recent weeks, but yeah, their defense is very shaky. They're full on attack. If Messi doesn't do anything, nothing's happening. But
Yeah.
on the other side of the bracket, we also have champions, CONCACAF Champions Cup, which is Cruz Azul versus Tigres.
Yeah. It's I think this one's more straightforward than the other one.
Who's up in this?
They're both it's a 1-1, so it's even.
And they're playing in Cruz Azul, right?
Yes.
Estadio Azul. I got Cruz Azul winning because, dude, I don't know how they play so well, like in the most recent seasons. Tigres is no joke, but I'll give Cruz Azul the edge playing at home.
Yeah, I gave it a Cruz Azul just because they haven't been playing very well, and I don't feel the same confidence in this Tigres team of the last couple of years. Like Andre Gignac has fallen off. I don't think he's like the same superstar he once was in the league. He's now like just a regular veteran that's there on the team just leading, and I don't think they have the superstar that to step up yet.
Yeah, tough team. We'll see how it goes. Tigres does like loves these kinds of matches though, so again, it won't be easy. I think Cruz Azul barely narrowly wins like by one goal.
I wouldn't be surprised if this goes to extra times.
Yeah. What's our next match?
Next match is continuing because the La Liga race is still on. We have Valladolid versus Barcelona because it's still only what a 4 point difference. So
Plenty of league left, and they still got Real Madrid and Barcelona still have to face each other. But I have full faith that Flick is going to rotate and win this match against Real Valladolid, who's pretty much in the second division at this point.
yeah, no, Valladolid is gonna leave a cheeky little punch before they head back and take a win against Barca.
I hope not. I hope not. I hope not. Then we have Lecce versus Napoli.
Yeah, and that shit like we said, Inter has a tough remaining schedule. Napoli's is much easier because Lecce is in the bottom half. I believe they're regulated or right in the regulation spot. Or oh, they're close. They're 17th. So they are will be fighting tooth and nail for this match. And but I think Napoli, since this is their main focus, they will take the win.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And then on the other side, we have Inter versus Hellas Verona. And I think Inter, draws in this one. I think there can be too focused on the Champions League that they let this one slip.
I think this is their first win in like a couple matches, and now they're gonna beat Hellas Verona, especially after like probably losing to Barcelona 3-0. They're gonna need to pick
Mhm.
me up, and this would probably be it.
And then on Sunday, we have Newcastle versus Brighton because they are both still in the run for, European spots. And especially with the current situation with, FA Cup potentially with Crystal Palace and, Europe Europa League, they're gonna try to keep, successfully their spot in third place.
Yeah, I
So
got
I think they take the win over Brighton.
yeah, I got Newcastle as well.
Then
And
we have Liverpool versus Chelsea.
huge match for Chelsea. They're trying to maintain their status in the top four. I'm going with Chelsea. Liverpool probably gonna rotate. They don't care about this match.
I'm going with the draw because Chelsea has not been in the best form, but I do think Liverpool take their foot off the pedal since they have won. Then we have Madrid versus Celta Vigo,
Yes, yes.
another one for the title race. Celta Vigo did give Barcelona a tough time, requiring, Barca score four in their match. Uh, I will go with Madrid, of course.
I got Celta Vigo just because of that. They are known as giant killers. We'll see if they can do us a favor.
And then we didn't wrote it down, but I just saw it. The Basque Clásico, Sociedad versus Bilbao.
Hmm. Who's playing home?
Sociedad.
And you just said the team is gonna win. I got Sociedad winning just because Ernesto Valverde is gonna rotate his squad for the Europa League. He's done it last week, I believe. He's gonna do it again. He just doesn't hesitate. His main thing is winning a trophy, and the Europa League has a huge chance of winning it.
Yeah, I think so as well because the Sociedad is 5 points up on Villarreal, so I think they could afford to. No, but this is a Clásico. I think Bilbao takes it
Even
because
with
this,
like the rotations.
yeah, because this means so much more to them than like so many other games. It's just different. I think they still go in at it hard and win the game because it's just pride at that point.
True. We'll see how it battles it out. In the Serie A, we also have Roma versus Fiorentina. We already said that one, right?
No,
Okay.
both are very like the Serie A, their Europa League competition spots. It's all very tight. I think from what is it, 8 through 4, there's only 3 point difference. Like Juve at 4 has 62, 8 Fiorentina has 59. So it's so close.
Yeah, and I have Roma winning this match again. Fiorentina has a Conference League semifinal. It's not going to be easy for them. They're going to have to go completely out and probably going to have to rotate for this match. But yeah, I'm taking Roma.
Well, I'm sticking with my team, dude. La Viola, they're gonna keep on going it. They're gonna keep going and they're gonna finish top 5.
And the last one we have on the books is Bologna versus Juventus. This is the biggest matchup in the Serie A just because it's, what is it, 4 against 5?
Yeah, and there's only a 1 point difference.
Yeah, Juve climbed up the table again, trying to force themselves into the Champions League. Bologna, uh, again, another huge surprise this season. They're doing it without Thiago Motta, so it might be the whole system in Bologna, so they probably have something special going on. I think Bologna wins this match.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that because they took out they fired Thiago Motta, which I don't think is right. And I still don't see, their problems being fixed. I think it's the same situation. I think it's upper management. And I think Orsolini has been a standout for Bologna, and I think he goes crazy again.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our picks for this week. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you guys tail this. Um, that's pretty much it for this episode. Jesse, do you have anything else?
The draft just happened for the Bears. It looks like it was a good draft. I was a skeptic of our first round pick, but I've been changed. I've been changed. I've seen enough highlight and other propaganda that has made me a believer.
Yeah, they went fully offensive when it came to this draft because normally the Bears go full defense. So it was a huge surprise, and honestly, I didn't expect it at all. I thought we were gonna draft a running back higher, to be honest. They got a running back in like in the sixth, seventh round.
Hmm. I'm not mad about the picks. If this is what Ben Johnson needs for a system and it's gonna make us better, I'm down for it. We got a weapon at tight end. We got our speedy receiver that we've been asking for in the second round. We got an offensive tackle that looks like he could potentially, become a long-term piece. Yeah.
The only one skeptic piece I got is the corner they got. Uh, he's hasn't played too long. Was it the corner or was it the line? There's a linebacker that's undersized. I think it was the linebacker that's undersized. So we'll see how that happens. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be like a special teams kind of player that
Hmm.
Dennis Allen probably asked for. But other than that, I really don't have any complaints about the draft. This is the first time I actually believe in what they do.
Well, you know me, throughout the weekend, I've been saying they didn't get the players I wanted or the players I think are could be really good. I think Matthew Golden for the Packers, that one hurt me a lot. I think he's going to be a stud. And also, I think we should have taken Xavier Watts eventually at some point. Maybe even trade up and get him.
Hey, but I think I sent you the clip on Instagram of Christian Watson's dad not liking the pick of the wide receiver Matthew Golden
Yeah, but I think that makes sense because that's going to be, he's taking Watson's spot because Watson is injured. I think he's coming from ACL injury, so he's going to be coming
again.
back. Yeah, I think he's projected to come back like week 9. So by that point, he's going to be in that spot with Reed on his opposite side. So, like, it's just that Christian Watson has fallen off. He had that one good season, but that was like 2 years ago.
Again, I'm not gonna criticize the Packers. I'll take it. If anything, they're diminishing their team just because their wide receiver room is already big as it is, and they need a replacement for Xavier. What is it, Jair Alexander? Because there's constant rumors of him leaving. He
Hmm.
said it too. They didn't get a cornerback to like the sixth or seventh or fifth round, the later rounds, and there was a lot of players available. So I don't mind it, just because it doesn't make them stronger, and we get to cook them again. So keep doing you, Packers. Draft another wide receiver next year as well. It's so funny they draft wide receivers when they don't have Aaron Rodgers now.
I think they just, the GM didn't like Aaron Rodgers because what was it? The first wide receiver picked in the first round in 23 years.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. But
They didn't need it,
also,
but I'll take it.
the biggest probably news was Shador falling off.
For the fifth round, I think you probably gave one of the best explanations for it. We were talking about it beforehand. You said
Yeah,
that he's too flashy.
yeah, because we were talking about like how teams like certain bloodlines because like if your dad was there, like that's usually a projection of like what you could be. And while Deion Sanders was a great, he had this cockiness for a corner or like a DB that most teams like for their corners to have because they're going one-on-one constantly against wide receivers, so they want that from their defensive backs. But because Shador has it, they don't like that in a quarterback, so they see it as being cocky and overconfident. So I think that's why he also fell, but also a bunch of other probably factors that we don't know about.
Yeah, who knows if he got blacklisted by the NFL. Browns took him eventually. That room was not excited to see him get drafted.
Well, this is what their fourth QB now. They have Joe Flacco, Pickett, and then they drafted Dylan Gabriel beforehand. So they have four QBs competing for that one spot.
They got Deshaun Watson too, but
That man is retired.
Yeah, I don't think he's playing.
He's
Hey, but
collecting those
shout out to him. He
paychecks.
keeps restructuring his deal, so he's not being a complete, dickhead about his contract.
Yeah, but I think what they're doing is they're just transferring the guarantee money into signing bonus, so he's just getting the money up front. He's just getting it quicker.
Yeah, but he could have been a dick and just been like, no, leave my contract as is. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's it's crazy because the Browns could have had Shador and Travis Hunter in the same team.
That would have been crazy. Especially because I think they said that they want him more as a wide receiver than corner.
And yeah. So maybe that's why they didn't draft him because Travis Hunter even came out and said that he doesn't want to play for a team that won't let him play both.
Hmm.
So maybe that's why, like, you know what, let's trade back. Maybe he's talking to us directly, because we told him we want you to play wide receiver specifically only. But hey, this
But
draft was more entertaining than I thought it would be.
yeah, well, it came out with the first trade with the Jacksonville trading up, which I didn't expect at all. And I think that's kind of crazy that they paid so much for Travis Hunter. I think he's good, but like to warrant, the price that they paid, he's gonna have to be a two-way player.
Yeah. But it's a good wide receiver room for Jacksonville just because they're gonna have your boy,
Brian Thomas,
Brian Thomas, and now um
Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. There's just gonna be a matchup issue.
Hmm.
Because I think a lot of people might underestimate Travis Hunter, be like, oh, this guy just played reps with defense. Like, he's not going to do anything on offense, and he might surprise them.
Well, and also especially because their new head coach is supposed to be a really good offense guy. So having those weapons, you'd expect them to do something like this. I think this is a make or break year for Trevor Lawrence because you finally
Hmm.
have everything you wanted.
Yeah, there's a bunch of question marks around him right now. A lot of people criticizing him. He did get paid a lot of money.
50 mil a year, Jerry.
Brock Purdy hasn't been paid yet, right?
No.
I know they're fighting for that deal, dude. They're trying to get him 50 mil, but mm, already not. Who knows
Yeah.
that maybe the Browns trade should do it for Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Make another big, massive trade.
You never know. You never know. Yeah. You got anything else for me?
No, I think that was it.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hit like, hit subscribe, send this to a friend. Thank you. Peace.
Peace.